Hey, what's up, channel members? I hope everyone out there is doing well, and I also hope that everyone out there had a chance to watch episode 1 of Marvel's What If on Disney Plus, because that's what we're going to be talking about today. This is not going to be the best review ever or like the most structured or anything. It's just going to be me talking about how much I like the show, basically, because I was pretty blown away by this. I really, really liked it. I watched a bunch of reviews of the first 3 episodes. Like, I guess all the media outlets out there got screeners for the first 3 episodes. So everybody out there was basically saying that the first episode wasn't that good and it was the weakest of the bunch and all this stuff. So I was kind of disappointed in hearing that. So I walked into this show thinking like, okay, this might be the weakest one, but I'm sure there'll be something cool in here. And I kind of had lower expectations, which I don't know why. I should never listen to these damn like review guys. I didn't even check out like the review guys that I actually like and trust. I just watched a couple of random ones. But yeah, I was like, okay, we'll see what happens. But then, man, I was completely blown away. I really, really love this show. I watched it twice, which says a lot because I don't really make that much time to watch like movies and TV shows and stuff. But with Marvel stuff, I always take the time to at least watch it once. But in this case, I watched it twice in one day. And a big part of the reason why I was able to do that is because it's so short. So I was able to just knock it out twice. But I watched it by myself in the morning, and then I watched it with my daughter when I got home. And I personally loved it. She liked it, but she didn't want to admit it because it's something I like. You know how that goes. But yeah, I was really blown away by the show. I'm not going to go over all the plot details. I think most people know exactly what the story is about, right? It's basically what if Peggy Carter became Captain America or Captain Carter instead of Steve Rogers. And I think it's a pretty interesting premise. It's not really a premise that's going to have like huge ramifications because it seems like she basically just took the place of Captain America and history kind of plays out the way it did with Captain America, but with Peggy in his place, right? So that's cool. And I hope episodes in the future have more of like an impact, but we'll have to see. But with this episode here, I just loved everything about it. I like that time period. I like stories from that time period. I like Captain America stories from that time period where it's just like World War II stuff and they're trying to like tactically figure out how to take out the enemy. All that kind of stuff. I've always liked that. And then, you know, you throw Captain America in there, it's always like fun stuff. And I really like this twist on it. There was a little bit of like, I could see some people complaining about like, you know, girl power stuff. And I would say, like, in response to that kind of attitude, it was fitting for the time. Like, you know, there's all kinds of funny stuff going on these days with that kind of things. And you know, they want to kind of gender swap or whatever. And then a lot of times people go, oh, don't change my favorite character into a girl. Oh, you know, all kinds of things. But, like, with this show, it made sense for that era. Because in that era, that is how people would treat, like, females, especially, like, in the military and stuff, right? So that kind of made sense. And I don't think they overcooked it anyway. So it was all good. But I can't really see what people disliked about the show. It was awesome. I did hear some complaints about it being too fast paced, but you know, it's a 30-minute show and they're trying to condense as much information as they had in like a movie. And I think considering the time restraints, they did really good. Like the pacing was really good in terms of how much they were able to fit into that half hour. Yeah, it was rushed, but they hit a lot of points. Like they did a really good job of establishing the relationship between Peggy and Steve. They did a really good job of establishing the importance of the super soldier program and what it meant for the Allies. And then they also did a very good job of establishing how evil Red Skull is. And he wasn't even in there that much, but he did a couple of things that really drove the point home that he was a piece of shit. So I think they did everything that they set out to do very well in a very short amount of time. I think all these shows are going to feel rushed. I would have preferred if this was 45 minutes. Honestly, I could have watched a 12-hour TV show of just this based on that situation. But yeah, I really liked I mean, not based on that situation, but based on that era and what came of Peggy becoming like the super soldier. But I really liked Peggy Carter. I like the character. I like the actress. And I think it's awesome that they had her play the voice of Peggy Carter. And I was surprised at how many people from Captain America First Avenger they had voicing characters in the movie. Like, I think it was Toby Jones, Stanley, what's his name? I always forget his name. Stanley Tucci, I think's his name. He was in there. Like a bunch of Dominic Cooper, a bunch of the actors that were in First Avenger were actually in this show too. So I think that's really cool. And I like the way they handled Steve Rogers too, because even though this was Peggy's story, like Steve wasn't sidelined at all. It still showed how important he is. It still showed like what a good character he is. Not just good like, you know, I like Captain America, but what strong character Steve Rogers has as like a person. It still established all that. Like people still looked up to him even though he was scrawny. At one point she called him her hero. I think that was dope because he wasn't like a super soldier yet. And, you know, if you're a Captain America fan, you know the thing that makes him special isn't the super soldier serum. It's Steve Rogers. So it's really dope that the show really drove that point home as well. So I thought that was cool. And I loved the Hydra Stomper or the Hydra Smasher, whatever it's called, Steve Rogers Iron Man Mark 1 armor. I think that is super dope. And it's so like Steve Rogers to want to get involved no matter how he can. So he jumps in this big like Iron, a lot of people were comparing it to Iron Giant, but a big Iron Giant type of thing. There's definitely Iron Giant influence in. And you know what? This show really made me want a Howling Commandos box set. Like I want all of them. I want Dum Dum, Gabriel Jones. I forget the other dude's name. There's one more guy in there that I can never remember his name, but I wanted all those. I wanted figures of all those characters. But yeah, I thought it was a really good show. The fight scenes were freaking amazing. There was one scene where Peggy was fighting a bunch of soldiers and she was in front of a truck and all you see is the lights shining towards us, the viewer, and she's fighting right there and all you really see is her silhouette just whooping ass. She was a badass. It's cool because she was already kind of a trained soldier. So when she got the serum, she was just ready to tear shit up. And she was killing it. Like she was whooping dude's ass. And like I really like the part after she beat up a bunch of soldiers. This big, huge dude. I kind of thought that was gonna be a certain character. I know there's a bunch of Invaders villains that could have been, but I thought he was going to be a certain character and they were going to make it known, but it really didn't seem that way. But he came out and he's all talking shit like, oh, they sent a girl, blah, blah, blah. And she just throws her shield down like a freaking G. She threw her shield down and walked over and just whooped his ass with 3 punches, like one in the leg, I think like one in the side or in the stomach or something, and then one in the head, and he was out. Just 3 punches, the three-piece special, took him out quick. But that was really dope, and just everything she did was awesome. Every time she would jump over something, like there was one point where she had the motorcycle and she was just like, she jumped and then kicked the motorcycle away into this guard tower and the whole thing just blew up. Like that was really dope. Like the explosions look really cool, the fighting looks really cool, and she's just awesome. I really, really liked her, and I cannot wait to get the Marvel Legends figure of her. Now this got, like, I was already hyped for the What If line from Hasbro, but after seeing this, I'm like, damn, I gotta jump on it. I want Peggy Carter now. I want, obviously I want Zombie Cap, but I want the Hydra Stomper, and yeah, man, those figures are gonna be dope, and the show is dope, and it's just a very exciting time because it's been a while since there's been like strong Marvel animated things out there, you know. Like DC's been killing it with animation forever. In the 90s, I loved Marvel animation, X-Men, Spider-Man, all that stuff, Fantastic Four, Iron Man, the Hulk, all of those shows were awesome back in the day. And it's nice that they've come back and given us more Marvel animated stuff. So it's an exciting time. But yeah, episode 1, I don't care what anybody says, that shit was awesome. Like, I really, really loved it, and I can't wait for episode 2. And I really hope they find a way to bring all these characters back. Like, that version of Steve Rogers, I would love to see him again. I really like the dynamic between Peggy, Howard Stark, and Steve. They were and Bucky, and they were just a really cool little team. One more small criticism I have is, like, some of the big moments, I feel like weren't as dramatic and impactful as they could have been. From like a cinematic standpoint, like the emotional stuff was there, like obviously spoilers, but like when Steve Rogers stops the train and it like blows up, like it kind of, like we don't feel the impact of like Steve blowing up in an explosion. I know he came back, so it's not like it's his death or anything, but I don't think we felt the impact all that much. And then also when Peggy pushed the big tentacle Cthulhu type of monster back into the portal, she just kind of walked in. Like, it wasn't like a big dramatic thing. Like, she walked in, and then a few seconds later, it exploded. The emotional stuff was there, because Steve was like, oh, and, his, like, armor, the battery died and stuff, so he like, was trying to get to her, but couldn't, and he was injured already, so that kind of stuff nailed it. But I feel like, just cinematically, there wasn't, like, a big, like, poof, I don't know, there was an explosion, but I just didn't feel the big, like, I didn't feel the big drama like as a big spectacle for those moments, you know, like I wish I could have. But aside from that, I think it was a damn near perfect show, and I really loved it, and I can't wait for episode 2. And I really hope to do a video like this for every single episode, but we'll see. And with that, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate all you guys that are channel members, especially after all this time where I haven't put up that many videos. I appreciate your patience and I appreciate your loyalty. But anyways, thank you so much. Peace.